do share your observation and do share your contact details so that we can connect you for business networking in the later on from this session. Let's move forward. These are the 3 days now we are available. Earlier we were coming Monday to Friday every day, but just 2 weeks back we changed. And now we have Leaders Insights, which is on turning Tuesdays, Learning Mantras every Thursday, which is Thriving Thursday. And today, the superb Saturday, where we are presenting you the Knowledge Fiesta. And there's a session which is full of learnings, fun, and action. And taking tips on overall well-being with loads of action and fun. And today, well, let's move forward a little. Well, now it's a time, let me call my colleague Ekta, and it's over to her now. Over to you, Ekta.
Thank you very much, Ashutosh. I welcome all our participants. Today is going to be a very, very interesting and interactive session. I know a couple of my friends who've joined with family, and a few of them will be joining very soon. So I would like to introduce the speaker of the day, Anant Kasibhatla. People who are in the corporate industry and those who've been attending his seminars, his workshops, speak very highly of him. So Anant is not a new name in the industry of training, coaching, and memory enhancing tips. So Anant is a Limca record holder. That's the most important, exciting thing for all of us to know. And it's a great honor for us to have him on our platform. And he's a record holder for his tricks around memory and enhancing memory. So he has 24 years of experience, of training experience. Anant has also authored 2 books and has conducted his workshops in over 9 countries. So guys, we have an international level coach, trainer, speaker today on our platform. His clientele majorly includes multinational companies, government organizations, universities, and several educational institutions. Various professionals, business owners, educators, and students at all levels have benefited immensely from his talks, his coaching, his workshops, and webinars. I'll not hold much between Anant. I will just request all of you to at least keep a pen and paper handy. Try and take away a lot of learning from Anant today, and try and participate and give him lots of energy in the session. Welcome, Anant, and over to you now. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you so much, Ekta. And thank you very much for inviting me, Ashutosh and Madhav. Thank you so much for having me here. So Madhav, can I have my slides? Is it okay, or should I start from here?
Sure. Just give me a second. I'm just starting.
Okay. All right. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
the slides are coming up. So let me say a big thank you for all the audience who are here, because I really honor your time. You have taken a time on a weekend to be here, and I will do my level best to make sure that you will get some major benefit out of today. So my first slide is thank you. So there I want to thank you so much. So I put it in all the languages which are available there. So thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. And Ekta was talking about at least have a pen and paper. I would say having a pen and paper is a must. And in fact, recently I've done a video saying that 3 big mistakes which people make when they're attending online classes. So one of them is not having a pen and paper handy. If you're not having a pen and paper handy, take it for granted, you will not have a major takeaway. So if you want to have major takeaway, you have to have something to write down. And one more reason is if you have a pen handy with you, you'll want to take notes. So otherwise, I've seen a lot of people attending meetings and they're looking here, they're lost, they're relaxing kind of stuff. So the learning will be affected a bit. So that's the reason why you should have a pen and paper. And I'll try to keep this as interactive as possible. And I'll be asking you certain questions. And if you have any, and please do respond in the chat box so that we can have a conversation around it. So and my commitment for today is when you go back from here, you will be having a lot of ideas on how you can take charge of your memory and how you can take charge of your focus, and your total perspective on your focus and memory is going to change forever for good. That's my commitment, and you will have a lot of takeaway from here. All right. So Madhu, can we have the next slide, please? And those of you who don't know me, that's me, Anand Kasi Butler. 2 more times mother. I'm an Indian national record holder for memory, and I'm an 1 more time mother. Next, please. Yeah, I'm an international speaker, trainer, and author. I was living in Malaysia, and these are the 2 books which I've done from. I've done one. The first one is done from Singapore. It is called Instant Memory Improvement, and the second one is called How to Become a Top Student. And interestingly, these 2 topics I also run as webinars, which you can find later on. Yeah, next, mother. Thank you so much. All right, this is where we start. Every next level of your life will demand a new version of yourself. Do you agree? If you agree, you can just say agree in the chat box. So I'll know that you're here and you're listening. Do you agree to this? All right. I think this is the part of life, and without this, nothing is going to happen. And if you want to move from whatever situation you are in today, if you don't do something different, you'll not go to the next level. And this is a known fact, and most of the people sometimes struggle on where do we start, especially when you're talking about the mind frame. Now, why I'm talking about the mind frame is because this is not something which is discussed on a regular basis. It's like weather, people always come up and say, hey, you know what? I cannot focus. Oh, I can remember. I cannot remember. His memory is good. It is something like, oh, you know what? There's an earthquake. You can't do anything about it. That's the mindset which people have. But in terms of memory and mind, basically, if you want to go to the next level, where do we start? And I'm going to give you some information. It may look like oversimplification, but trust me, it is simple. That's why it looks like simplification. There are 2 things which you have to work on. The first one, next, mother. The first one is perception. You have to change the way, not yet. Can you just go back, mother, once? The I there. Yeah, the first one is perception, and your perception becomes your reality. A lot of times people come up with this idea that, oh, my memory is poor. Who sold you that idea? I can't remember names. Who told you that? We just make that up, and that is what your perception, and your perceptions will make a lot of impact on your reality. We'll see in detail in a while. So the next one, please. The second one which you have to think about is taking different actions. The actions which you take is going to give you the result which you're going to get. You've got to take a different action, and please mind the word different. I'm not saying difficult. A lot of times people don't take a different action simply because they have a perception. Again, taking a different action means taking a difficult action. It did not be so. So today we'll be learning some things, changing your mindset a bit and taking small bits of action in a consistent level. You'll be seeing how well you'll go to the next level. All right. So I'm just going to share some interesting thing. Probably some of you or most of you might have seen it. If you've seen it, it's a revision. If you have not seen it, this is going to be something interesting. So can I have the next slide, mother? Yes, thank you. So what do you see here? Can you just put it on the chat box, please? What do you see here? Frog, toad. All right, cool. Frog. Okay, lot of frog. Kaun sa mendak? Okay. All right, frog in the water. Toad and a horse. Oh, horse. Okay, we start getting different answers. People saying horse. And when I put this up on in my classes, people say it looks like a frog. It looks like a chicken in the supermarket. It looks like a horse. It looks like a bird. A lot of things come up. And why I'm putting up this is there's no right answer or wrong answer. Especially in terms of mind, again, there is nothing right, nothing wrong. There is something, and it is all about how you react to it that is going to make a difference. So this is a frog, looks like a frog, but if you change your perception a bit, you're going to get totally a different thing. So Madhu, can you have a next slide, please? All right, what do you see now? Can you just reply on your chat? Okay, horse. Now, most of the people are saying frog, and now everybody is saying horse. And the best thing, I have not changed the picture. The picture is very much the same. What changed is the perspective. The way you look at the picture has been changed. The orientation of the picture has been just tilted like that. So can I have the next slide, please? So here you have the frog. And next. One more. Yes. Now this is exactly what happened. There's a frog there, then there's a horse. Now why I'm showing this picture is because a lot of times people have got some limited mindset and they start looking at things in a particular way, and that is what exactly you'll be getting. And how your perceptions make a role in your life, we're going to explore that as well. And specifically in terms of mind, the major perceptions you're making, that is going to change your reality for good or for bad. All right, so the next one, please. Here is a small lesson for you, and the lesson is, can you go back, Mother, one step? Now, can you just press one more time?
Madhav, you have to go slow with the slides and just follow Anand's path.
Yeah. One more.
This one?
One more.
One more?
Yeah. Okay, fine. So I think there's some technical issue. There's no problem. So the lesson from these slides is a small way you look at the things. If the small change in the way you look at things can make a huge difference. All right. Now, we're talking about memory. So let's understand the memory as a process.
Anand, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello.
Anand, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you,
Ekta,
Anand.
maybe
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, let's go back to the slide more. Okay. Now, let's discuss memory as a process. Now, understanding the word process is very, very important. So when you say something as a process, it's like you have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and it's like, a flow. Now, you have to understand that there is a flow in memory. Now, there are 3 steps which are there, 3-step process. I call them as the 3 R's of memory. So can you all guess what could be the 3 R's of memory? It's called a 3R process. So each step in the process starts with the letter R. So your ideas, can you please type in the chat box, what could be the 3 R's of memory? Mother, can you put the next slide? Retain, read, yep, more, reception, perfect, go on, remember. No, 3 R's of remembering cannot be remember. Okay, recognize, okay, good going. Anything else?
Recollect.
Recollect, recall. For the benefit of the group, please do use the chat box, not the voice. That will be better. Retention. All right, cool. Restore. Wow. Okay. Reproduce. Okay, cool. All right. So these are very good. Now, there's one only: revive, receive. Okay, retain, recollect, reproduce. Wow, giving all the 3 together. Thank you, Krishnamurti ji. Okay, fine. So very good. Thank you very much for the responses. Remind. Okay, good. So let me tell you the 3-step process. And you know what? The most amazing thing, most of the people have missed the most crucial part. Okay, let me share the thing. Madhav, can we have the next slide, please? The first R is register. Register. Now somebody said receive. So receive is more or less equivalent to register, but a lot of people have not used that. Okay, and interestingly, when you have a group of 20-30 people, hardly registration or receiving comes in the first thing. Now what I want to tell you is just look at the word forget, the spelling, F-O-R-G-E-T. And the best part, before you could forget something, you have to get it. Now today I went to one of the a government registration office a while ago before coming here, and there was a person who has helped me out, and I can never ever forget his name in my lifetime. Any guess why I cannot forget his name? If you can guess, just quickly answer. There's one guy who helped me in the registration counter in the government department just now. I can never ever forget his name in my lifetime. Because he was helpful to you, okay? All right, so I'm selfish, guys. So somebody who helps me, I can remember, otherwise not. Okay, good, no problem. Just kidding. Because I've registered, okay, great. All right, anything else? He must be different. Must be a different name. Mudita, okay, maybe. Because he made you feel good. Okay, because of the extra effort I put in, great. Now, let me tell you something. It may sound like funny, but it's a fact of life which is hurting most people. Oh, his name is Anand. Wow. His name is Anand, maybe. All right. He left an impression. It had a rhythm. Great. So let me give you my reason. You want to know the reason why I don't forget his name? If you want to know the reason, please. Yes, good. Thank you. The reason I can't forget his name is because I don't know his name. Sounds like a joke. I really don't know his name because I did not ask. Yeah. Now, why I'm talking about this? Most of the time, this is what exactly happens with people. Now, people have conversation, they shake hands, they give names, and when you're giving the name, I'm thinking, okay, is my shirt good or not? Is my hairstyle good or not? And then, in the meanwhile, I actually miss out your name. And when I go back home, I'll be thinking, what was his name? What was his name? And you think, see, my memory is very wrong. I forget names. Did you even get it? That's the question. So before you claim that you forgot something, please ask, did you get the name in the first instance? Not only the name. A lot of times when I was in school, it used to happen to me a lot. Maybe there are some school students or university college students here. It might have happened to you as well. You listen to a lecture, you go back home, you attend a webinar, you attend a seminar, you go back home and you say, I don't remember what this guy was talking about. Oh, really? Did you even get it in the first instance? That should be the first question. All right. So register is very, very critical. And you see, forget. Before you forget something, you have to get it. All right. So that's the first one. Registration, very critical. The second one. So Madhu, can you go for the next one, please? The second R is retention. Retention is your ability to hold on to the information. How long can you hold on? You get the information now. Can you recall it after 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, 3 years, 5 years, now, rest of your life? Now, that is what is your holding capacity. How long can you hold on? And how long can you hold on is decided on how have you received it or not. And you know, the good news is you don't have to do any work for registration, retention at all. In fact, my saying, I would always say this, the world's most sophisticated black box would probably the cheapest imitation of human brain. It has been technically a lot of medical experts, somebody maybe here also would agree to that. And that is the moment you're born till date, you may be 20 years, maybe 40 years, maybe 89 years, it doesn't matter. Everything you have gone through is perfectly encoded into your head. And there are therapies, there are mechanisms where they can actually make you recall what has happened on your day 1, day 2, day 10, or the first year or second year. Knowing what you know now, you'll be able to recall that. Of course, it's called regression therapy that's there, and you'll be able to recall exactly. Now, why I'm saying that is retention is automatic. You don't have to do a lot of work, right? Third one, the next one, please, Madhav. The third one is a critical one, which is, of course, all the three are critical, so that's what makes it a process. The third one is recall. Recall typically is your ability to bring out the information at will. When you need something, you should be able to bring out. So it's basically, you know, searching the whole database, Google yourself, and get out the information. So that is all about recall. So registration, retention, and recall. My question for you, which is the most important thing of all the three? Quick answers, please, before we move on. All three important, okay? Register is very important. Register. Okay, awesome. Register. First one, register. Great. Now, I would go by the same thing. Register is very important. Of course, recall is important. That's there anyway. Now, if you are registering well, that will sort out most of the issue. If your registration is good, retention is there. If retention is there, recall will be there. Now, unfortunately, most of the people, if you see, where do they put their effort on? They put the effort on retention and recall. If you talk to anybody, boss, what is your tell me something, if you know what is given to you, then your life would be amazing. ये बोले कि आपके पास में ये कुछ add हो जाएगा तो memory में आपको मजा आ जाएगा. And they'll always come up and say, how can I retain? How can I recall? How can I retain? How can I recall? This is the pain. This is what they actually want. Boss, before you could actually retain and recall, you have to think of registering. If you can spend a part of effort on registration, which you normally spend on retention and recall, you will be amazed. Your life will be much more simple. first part. The second one, retention, you really don't have to do much, but recall, yes, you have to do some work. And what kind of work, what kind of effort, you'll know shortly. Okay, registration, retention, recall, these are the three things which are the process of memory. Next one, Madhav, please. All right. You cannot consciously use something that you are not aware of. Now, why I'm saying this is, if you are not consciously, the word consciously, if you are not aware of registration is more important, probably will not use it. No, it's something like this. Maybe one of you, a good soul who is very, very rich, likes my presentation and puts $1 million in my bank account. And you don't tell me. Do you think I'll be able to draw even a single rupee out of it? The answer is a big no, because I am not even aware that there is money. I am not saying this, the bank says there is money, but I'm not aware. Now, why I'm talking about this is, you may know in your mind level, ki, ye teen hai, registration, retention, recall, I know. But then it should be on a conscious awareness. So one of the reasons why I'm sharing this information is to make you consciously aware. The moment you're consciously aware, you'll be automatically seeing the next interaction you go through, you'll be able to, focus better, because you know that registration has to be conscious. Okay, but it won't work, call like an alert. So we'll take the questions in a while, Martin, because I'll not be able to read the chat and talk at the same time. So we'll put the chat minimum normally, and then when I ask you for chat, then you will chat and we'll have a question answers anyway. All right, so next one, please, Madhav. Okay, the most innocent mistake, the amazing innocent mistake which people make, which makes them pay a hefty price. Do you want to know that mistake? It's innocent, but then it's a mistake. All right, so Madhav, next one, please. Memory is automatic. This thought, which people believe, most people believe that memory is automatic. They always think this, hey, look, I am listening to this, I am understanding, so I'll remember. I heard his name, I spoke to him, he's my friend, so I'll remember. No, it will not work that way. Please understand that. Memory is not automatic, and my dear friends, nothing in life is automatic. All right, even the most sophisticated automated machine or factory also needs somebody need to switch on the switch. Only then it can run in auto mode, right? Memory is not automatic. It is a process. It has to be initiated. It has to be initiated consciously. Now, let me give a simple example. Now, what kind of price which people pay for this? Because they think memory is automatic, people don't make a conscious effort to remember, nor a conscious intention to remember. All right, so Mother, next slide, there's a message in the next slide, then we'll come back to this. Okay, the intention. So people will not even have an intention. Now, a simple, quick question for you, introspective, please think about that. And later I'll ask you a question. Think about this first. You must be meeting a lot of people. And for students, you must be attending a lot of classes, or people these days attending a lot of webinars. Now, my question for you is, how many times did you actually tell yourself before entering the seminar hall, before meeting the person, before entering the webinar, that I want to remember what this guy is talking about? Is it often? Is it very less? Is it never? Can I just have some answers, please? How many times have you told? Often. Wow, always. Vijay Kumar, that's amazing. If it is always, less. If it is always, you should be known by your team or your friends as one with real good memory. Very less, often, fine. Okay, now for many people, it is very less. And why I'm talking about this is, once there is no intention, there will be no action. And Karuna says, depends. Wow. That's interesting answer. If it depends, the memory also depends. Because, you know, is the Maggi good? It depends on whether there's salt or not, or what you're cooking. So it all depends. So the result is always like that. Now, why I'm talking about this is, people always say, hey, is this guy important to me? most times people start with a judgment. Okay, oh, I don't meet this guy often, so should I actually remember his name? Maybe not. So that kind of thing happens. So it depends what where interest lies. Oh, this is a very important point. Thank you for sharing that, Karna. So we'll have a slide on this later. Kavin, never. Okay, now I think you understand that your intention will cause the action, your action will cause the result. Now let me tell you, there is no problem with memory. We'll talk about that in a while. So next slide, Mother, next one. Okay, ignorance of no, can you just go back once? Okay, ignorance of the rule will, oh, sorry, okay, will not make you immune from the consequences. All right, so if you say, oh, I don't know this, doesn't matter whether you know or you don't know, you will pay the price, because that's how the nature works. If tomorrow I am walking on a on the top of a 20th floor building and I say I don't know about gravity and I just jump, I'll not go down, I'll go up. All right, not because gravity fails, go down and go up, that's a bounce, big bounce. All right, anyway, let's move to the next one. One more please, Mother. One question, I want some very quick answers. Why do people forget? Some very quick answers, maybe one word or one liner fast. I just want to listen to few answers, please. Why do people forget? Can you guys hear me? Hello. Okay, fail to register. Okay, that's great. Depends, did not practice. Try to not having recall because they're distracted, less attention, not worth remembering, maybe lack of interest, registration, may not be, don't make an effort to remember. Okay, great, lot of answers. And not worth remembering, maybe. Wow, Shivangi, right? Okay, now let me tell you something about this. Not worth remembering. If something is not worth remembering, even God cannot help you to remember. All right, okay. So thank you for all the reasons. Mother, can we go for the next ones, please? Now this is one big question I want to ask everybody. Put up your answer. How much percentage of your brain do you think do you use? 8%? Wow. 10%? 2.5%? 2 to 3, 4 to 5, less than 10, less than 1, 3%? 0.5%? Okay, cool. A lot of answers here. I am sure most of you are saying it's less than 10 to 15%. Let's not contest on the numbers. All right. Let's never thought of it. Okay. Let's not fight or contest on what is right, what is wrong. But I'm sure most of you would agree that a lot of room is still available, right? Lot of places available, maybe at least 70, 80% of the places available. If you think, okay, you're already using 50% of your brain, 50% is still there. If you think you're using 80% of your brain, there's 20% still left. But let me tell you, now I read somewhere from a very credible source, Tony Buzan has written that people use 0.01%. I'm not contesting, I'm not saying whether right or wrong, but that's one figure given by one authority. All right, but let's not fight about that. Even if it is less than 10%, less than 20%, doesn't matter. Okay, now why I'm bringing up this is lot of people talk about overload of the brain when they want to remember. Oh, why you don't remember phone numbers? Oh, Mena, I don't want to overload my brain. Very innocent. If you hear such kind of responses from now on from other people, please give them your bit of knowledge to them. And that is the bit of advice which I always give to people who say, I don't want to use remember because I may get overloaded or whatever. I don't want to overuse my brain. So there's a rule for overusing. And that is, before you could overuse something, you have to use it. All right. That's what then spare cells which you should be used by the get. All right. Okay. So before you could overuse, you have to actually use. But if you want to use, you have to use a process. So let's get into a process. So Mother, can we have the next one? One slide, please, Mother. Mother, can we have the next slide? Okay, before the next slide comes up, okay. No, just
next
go
one.
Yeah, the blue one. No, previous. 2 previous, please. One more. Okay, here. Hold on here. Okay, now this is a big question. Do people actually forget? What's your take? Do people actually forget? No. Okay.
Madhav, next blue one.
The blue one, yeah. Next one. Oh, people forget. Vijay Kumar, Neha, yes. People forget. Okay, do people forget? Yes. Yes. And those people who have not responded actually forgotten the question which I have asked, I guess. Okay, a lot of yes. Okay, no, there are a couple of few no's, some yes. Okay, now let me tell you something. Whatever you're thinking is absolutely fine. I just want to give you my idea, and that is people don't forget anything. You don't forget. You don't have a problem with memory ever. There cannot be a problem with memory. Now, let me put it in a different perspective. If you believe in God or if you believe in nature, I'm not saying you have to believe in God. If you don't believe, it's absolutely fine, no problem at all. But my thought process is this: you have to either believe in God or you have to believe in nature. Either one of them you should believe, or you could believe in both. It doesn't matter. But at least one you have to believe. All right. Now, first thing is, if you believe in God or if you believe in nature, please understand that neither the God nor the nature will ever create a substandard product. All right. So next time when you say, I can't remember, my memory is not good, hold on. Don't make judgments. Do you really think your memory is bad? Now I'm going to give you a task. And the moment you do this task, you will actually know on an experiential level whether your memory, you have a problem with remembering or not, or you have a problem with the memory or not. Are you ready for that task? If you're ready, please, yes. Okay, all right. Now the task is very simple. The task is try to forget something which you already know. I'll just repeat again. Please try to forget something which you already know. Is it possible? No, you can't. No, it sounds like a joke. You can't forget. How can you forget something which you already know? Impossible. It just can't happen. So please don't come up and tell yourself that, hey, I forgot. No, now then there is also this different thing. Hey, I met this guy, I know him for last 10 years, but I forgot the name. I put the keys somewhere, I forgot where I put it. Now this is an experience of forgetting. All experiences need to be true. Madhav, can you go to the next slide, please? All right. So I'm sure most of you read something. Most of you have seen the sun. You have read something about the sun, I'm sure. So I want to make some statements. So you have to either agree or disagree very quickly. If you agree, please say agree. If you don't agree, you say don't agree. So let's see a very simple thing which I've been hearing, we have been experiencing all the time. The sun rises in the east and sun sets in the west. Agree, disagree? Awesome. Thank you very much for all of you. And let me tell you something amazing right now. This is going to change your mindset on memory. And that is, thank you for disagreeing, Krishnamurthy ji. And I also tend to disagree. What the science says is the sun is stationary in relation to the earth, by the way. The sun is stationary and we are moving around the sun. We are moving, the sun is not moving. And what is the net experience? The sun is moving around the earth. See the level of ego. We're saying that the sun is moving around us. No other work for the sun. It's actually the earth moving around the sun, but in reality, the experience is that the sun is moving around us. This is the biggest lie of the universe, which is a true experience every single day. All right. Why I'm talking about this? Same thing. Forgetting is the biggest lie of the mind space, which you probably experience very frequently. There are reasons for why it happens. Now, why the sun experience is relativity, the theory of relativity is there. Now, why this forgetting happens, let's understand. I'm going to ask you a simple question. How many times it has happened to you? You forget somebody's name and you try all sorts of data recovery strategies. The data recovery strategies, you go and say, hi, can I have your new business card? People change business every day. Or, sometimes people actually say, oh, can I have your email ID? If the email ID says anantk@mymemoryzone, it's okay. But the email says rockstar2000 _yahoo.com, then you're trouble, right? And, People try to do the data recovery strategy, and if they don't get, they talk sweetly so that the other person don't even get that they forgot the name, and you go back home and you say, I know this guy, it always happens with me, Rotary mein bhi hua tha, wo meeting mein hua tha, I forget the names. That's what you think. And how many times it has happened to you that 3 days, 4 days, 1 week down the line, the name pops up, oh, Madhav, how can I forget him? Oh, Rahul, how can I forget him? And there could be some students here. Now let me give you an idea of the students. How many times it has happened to you that you go into an examination hall, you're very excited, very happy, you're very prepared, you see a particular question, and then you try to answer, suddenly the mind goes blank. Say, oh my God, my memory is not working, I've lost it. Or I forgot it. And several times when you just step out of the hall, immediately after stepping out of the hall, everything comes back. Did that ever happen to you? I'm sure a lot of times. Now, sometimes, at least sometimes it happens. The reason is at that moment you're not able to recall, you have not forgotten it. Now, why you are not able to recall? There's a big reason. We'll talk about that. So next one, Madhav. So let's have next slide, please. Okay, 3 memory stealers very quickly. These are little things which you have to work on an attitude level. If you can delete these 3 things, your memory will be up and running for a very, on a very good level. So next one, please, Madhav. Okay, so the first one is disbelief. Most people don't remember simply because they don't believe that they can remember. Now, how many times it has happened to you that you meet somebody and you ask, what's your number? And they say 98, whatever thing, and then you pick up your mobile and say, tuck, 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 and then it's saved. You don't try to remember that number, because what happens is you think, yeah, numbers to yaad nahi hoga na. Just remember, I don't know how many of you are old enough here. 20 years back, 25 years back, when these digital devices are not there with you, how many of you were very, very good with the telephone numbers? You used to remember the telephone number of the, office, of whatever thing, and also you remember the PP numbers. I don't know how many of you actually remember the PP word. Nowadays, each person has got 3 or 4 or 5 devices, right? Okay, you have PP numbers. Those days, there used to be a PP number. It's a particular person, okay? Pados wala phone bhi bolte the usko. So people remember the numbers because there is no option. Now people are actually using an artificial memory aid, so-called, and then they store it and they don't use whatever is available, and they say, yaar mera memory kaam hi nahi kar raha, kaam diya kar usko. You're not even given work to it. All right. So one is disbelief. When you have disbelief, you don't take action. If you have a belief that yaar naam na mujhe yaad karna bahut dikkat hai, so that's a belief which you have. All right. So now what happens is when you meet somebody, even the other person don't give the name properly. Most of the people don't ask, sorry, I can't get your name. Now why they don't ask is simply because, yaar sun ke bhi kya karna, yaad thodi rakhna hai. I anyway can't remember. Why should I ask and look like a hero that, why should I remember? So these are, okay. So disbelief is one thing. The second one, please, Madhav. Back, please. Okay, sorry. You're good, Madhav. Thank you. Your reality is reflection of your strongest belief, and if you're believing that your memory is not working, and that is what will be your reality. All right. Next one, Madhav. Yep. Next. Okay. Now the second one is disinterest. Karna was talking about interest. Back. The second one is disinterest. Now I don't have to overemphasize this fact. If you are interested, your memory will be good. If you're not interested, your memory will not be good, because interest is what will make you work. All right. Next one. Next. Okay. Effort is the best indicator. All right. So let's go to the next one. Third one is disuse. Most people don't use their memory as much they should be using. I gave you an example of the mobile phone already. People are using this device. They're not using the memory. Nowadays, people, if they want, I'm not talking about memory, but I'm talking about the mind in general. If somebody wants to calculate 17 times 5 or 17 times 18, people will search for a calculator for 15 minutes or say, okay, Google, what is 17 times 18? But they don't get this idea that they can actually pick up a pen and paper and work it out. All right. Now, what's happening here is we are not using what's actually available. And there are a lot of people who come up with a stubborn question. Hey, when Google is there, why should I even use it? When I have a calculator, when I have what this, why should I do it? Now the answer for me in a very funny and a rude manner is, there are so many automated wheelchairs coming with extra features. Why don't we all buy wheelchairs and use? We don't do that because we're not handicapped yet, right? So why are you using these devices? Now, I'm not waging a war on phones. I got 2 phones, maybe 3 phones. I'm not waging a war on phones. I'm only waging a war on your belief that you can only work on this. Please start using this. This is more powerful. All right. So the first thing you want to do if you want to take your memory to the next level is eliminate all these 3 things. And trust me, and you can actually have a look at yourself. Whenever your memory has failed you, whenever your memory failed, either disbelief or disinterest or disuse or all the 3 or 2 of them has made an impact, and without these you will never have a problem. So the first thing is kick them out and you'll be surprised your memory will start working like it should work. All right, so next one please, Madhav. Use it or lose it. All right, it can be a car, it can be a gun, it can be your brain. If you don't use something, it will get rusted. If you don't use it, it will become useless. So the more you use it, the more sharper it gets. It's like a memory is like a muscle. All right, so you'll become better at that because it's a process. When you start doing a process, you actually become better at it. You'll start discovering or innovating things. Now cooking is a process. The more you cook, the more ideas you get, the more faster, the more specially you cook. The same thing. Memory is a process. All right, please understand that. The more you use it, the more better you get it. Next, Madhav. Okay, so this is the first thing you got to do is you have to kick them out of the system. Next one. This is just a slide, so we'll go to the next. Yeah, it's like practice. Now input output. So I just want to share now, this is going to be a critical takeaway. If students are here, please do pay more attention. Otherwise, even executives, this is one thing which is very, very important, which is not happening on a daily level, and this is what is making a problem. Input output ratio. Now just have a look at it. How much input you do and how much output you have. Now we are talking about recall, and people actually have a problem in recalling simply because they have not practiced recall. The simple question, how many times have you consciously practiced recall? Quick answers, please. How many times have you consciously practiced recall? I need some answers. Less, never, rarely. Now this is what happens. This is what happens based on situation. Okay, good, sometimes. Okay, now let's talk about this. Let me give a funny example. If I come up and tell you that, hey, you know what? I cannot play piano. Oh, really? Then you'll ask, how many times have you practiced piano? And my question is, oh, ऐसा भी करना होगा क्या? Of course करना है. You got to get something to the next level. You got to practice this. If your recall has to be going to the next level, you have to consciously practice. The word here, consciously practice. And people don't consciously practice simply because of the innocent mistake which they do. They think that, hey, memory is automatic. Practice क्या करना है? सुना था ना? I've heard with complete attention डाल के मैंने सुना था ना? कुछ नहीं होगा. You have to actually recall. So input output ratio, and I'm not blaming anybody, but the problem what's happening in life, if you look at your school level, you go into the class, science teacher, math teacher, English teacher, physics teacher, that teacher, this teacher, doom, input, no problem. Now output, when it happens, quarterly examinations, final examinations, and most of the people are pretty smart. Chapter 10 se nahi aayega, chapter 11 se 2 mark aayega, this mein se aayega, and they'll do spotting. I don't know, whatever you call in your language, and then they only read that. All right, so if you look at the thing, input is very much and output is a little bit. So what's happening is your outgoing muscles or the recall muscles are very, very weak. So what you got to do now is, don't worry about input. Input is always there. You have to practice output at every instance you get an opportunity. Somebody meets up and tells you that, hey, my name is Anant. So why don't you say, hi, Anant? Your teacher has taught you something. Why don't you recall it? Not at the time of examination. If you recall it now, you have a chance of recalling it in the future. If you don't recall it now, you will have a terrible problem. Now let me give an example. Now let's say I want to go to your house and say, okay, Anand, how do you come? So I say, okay, I'll come from, I'll tell me, I'll ask you direction, how do I reach your house? Then you say, okay, kahan se? Then I say from Bata Chowk Metro. So okay, Bata Chowk Metro. Okay, Bata Chowk Metro. Then get out of gate number 2. वहाँ से straight चले जाना. वहाँ पर एक transformer आएगा. वहाँ से left turn. थोड़ा आगे जाके take a left turn. Then you see the police station. Police station के 3 गली के बाद में, and you give me whatever thing you want to tell me. I say okay, good. You're given in simple English or Hindi. I understood everything. And let's say at that moment I decide कि यार आज नहीं जाना है घर. Let me go some other time. And I decide not to come to your house. 3 weeks later or 5 days later, I feel that I want to go to your house. So first I'll go take a metro to Bata Chowk, and Bata Chowk I get down. Do you think that I will even remember faintly what you said? The answer is a perfect no. I'll call you again. Boss, I'm at the Bata Chowk. Can you please tell me the directions? And then you'll tell the same drama, gate number 2, transformer, police station, Teen Gali, whatever is that. And then once I follow it, 6 months later, if you want to reach your house, I'll only call you to say, hey, are you at your house or not? I'll not ask you directions. So once you follow that, you'll actually get it. So if you recall it now, like now, then you'll be able to recall it later. Now what people do is, acha, ye bhi padh lo, ye bhi padh lo, ye bhi padh lo, ye bhi padh lo, baad mein recall karenge. Now I want to give an example of this, and this is like very sad, very shocking. So there's one guy who was writing some exam like CFA. The exam happens in Dubai, and one of my friends' son. Interesting thing. So they got an online module, then they got some exams, and they got some MCQ, and then there's a test. So chapter 1 he read, he did whatever he wanted to do, and he did the MCQ. Then chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, and then he came back to chapter 1, and what happened was he scored a 0. And what happened was he was not instantly recalling. He was just going with a good feeling that, oh, I think I've learned it. Unless you recall, you will not be able to store. So don't do the big mistake of चलो पहले सभी कुछ पढ़ लेते उसके बाद में recall करते हैं. Now input should follow output. Input should follow output all the time. No, sorry, output, every input should follow with an output. All right. So that's how things work. So recall at an instant. Somebody says, okay, if you're an person look into say recruitment example. Your client says, I need 4 people for maybe Java with the 5 years of experience. Just repeat. Okay, you need 4 people for Java in whatever terms you may. So this has got 2 advantages. One is you are making sure that you get the actual message. 2 is you are recalling it now, so that will be in the mind. So when you recall, you're actually using your internal resources. When you are listening something, you don't have to use anything. You can be a mute spectator and listen. But when you have to recall, when you're trying to recall something, you'll not be able to think of Sachin Tendulkar or something else, because you're working on it, and that will give you an extra edge. So input, output, don't try to match 100%, but jitna output आप करने का कोशिश करें, it need not be academic, it can be any output. It really works with everything else. So next one, Madhav. Okay, the second one is recall. So recall करने के लिए, let me give you some ideas. Now one is called as a transactional recall. Now transactional recall, if you want to write it down, you can write it down. Transactional recall. Now what I mean by this is, after every transaction, make a recall. Now transaction has nothing to do with money here. Transaction is an event. You are attending a webinar. After the webinar is over, just make a recall. You go into a movie. After the movie is over, make a recall. You're talking to a client. After the client goes off, make a recall. And you don't have to spend an hour. You just spend a couple of minutes, try to recall. Now this way, your focus will be better. Your recall will be better. Your concentration better, because you have an intention that you want to recall. Now normally what happens, people go to classroom, they come back, but if you have an idea that I have to recall at the end of the day or end of the classroom or end of the class, then you'll listen intently. That makes a lot of impact. So one is called as a transactional recall. So after every transaction, try to recall. So other thing which you can do is a day recall. At the end of the day, try to recall. Now that will give you a lot of help. You don't have to spend 5 hours, just spend 5 to 7 minutes recalling everything in a chronological order. You'll be surprised. Your focus will go to the next level. There's a lot of science behind it. The time is limited, so let's go to the next one. Next one, please, Madhav. Okay. So that will make you different. Keep educating yourself. Now, this is one more thing. The more you learn, the more better you get. Next one, please, Madhav. So we'll just skip few slides. Why improve focus? We all know that focus is very important to go to the next level. Next. Now, focus is a game changer. Can we go to the next level? Next question, please. I have seen some interesting slide on focus, which I would like to share. I have not created this is not my creation. I've seen it somewhere. I thought it will be useful for you because we're talking about focus. So next one, please, Madhav. Follow one course until successful. This is the secret, the mantra of having focus. Do one thing at a time. And what happens is, for most people, they're listening to webinar, they're having tea, they're thinking about, yaar, oh, bank mein paisa aaya ki nahi, ek baar bank khol ke dekh lete hain, or they're thinking about something. And I'm not just giving an example of here, I'm telling the same thing. People are listening to something, they're doing something else. So what is happening is, now, I don't know much of Hindi, but it is something like Dobi ka kutta, na ghar ka na ghat ka. You are neither here nor there. So be with one thing. So that will give you a lot of focus. So let me give some very quick ideas. I think we're running short of time. So next one, Madhav. Okay, one question. There's this question one more time. Why is it difficult to focus? Anyone very quickly, can I have some answers? Why is it difficult to focus? Some quick answers, please. Multitasking, interest level, distractions. Wow, too many distractions. Amazing. Too many things going in life. Disinterest. Great. Distractions. A lot of distractions. I love the word distraction. We'll see, decipher the word distraction. Your total perspective of distraction is going to change in a way. Mind has got a tendency of wavering. Amazing answer. Now that's the nature of the mind. The mind is like a monkey. And unless you do something consciously, it will becoming a wild monkey. It will start becoming like that. So you got to do it. And the question is, are we doing something consciously about it? That's the big question. Okay, next one, please, Madhav. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of people. Next one. Okay, these people will never have concentration challenge in their life. Do you agree or disagree? How do I know? I know because if they are not concentrated, this picture would be with two garlands. These people would have been dead already. All right, super agree. Next one. Yeah, life is at stake. Madhav, next, please. This guy who is can you just go back to the bullfight? Madhav, previous.
There's a bullfight, Stein.
Yeah, bullfight. That's right. Thank you. So this guy will never get an idea like, let me send a message to my girlfriend. Abhi 5 minute mein nikal ke aa raha hu. He will never do that. All right. He will never think of COVID kab khatam ho jayega. Nothing. Mind will be totally focused. The reason is the same thing Mr. Kurana is talking about. Sharma, is that life is at stake. The life is at stake, either your life or somebody's life. Now, when you're not able to focus, instead of jumping into conclusion that, hey, I'm not able to focus, please ask, are you thinking that it is a priority? Don't ask why I'm not able to focus. Ask why I am not prioritizing. If you're prioritizing, your focus will be intact. Of course, there's some tools I'm going to give you. All right. So focus is all about priorities, and if your priority is high, your focus will be high. Now, let's say, for example, you're keying your income tax details, and there's a clause that by 10 o'clock today, you have to hit the enter after entering all the things. Otherwise, there's a 10,000 rupees penalty. Example. So you're keying in, and there's a lot of information left, and you're keying in, and the phone is ringing on the side, and you're keying in. There's a lot shortage of time. Do you even stop and acknowledge the ringing of the phone? I don't think so. You'll simply keep typing because something is at stake. Now, when you got something, now when you have the purpose in your mind, when you know that okay, agar ye hoga to ye hone wala hai. I mean, if you have that clear goal or objective of why you're doing what you're doing, your focus will be in a better level. Next one, Madhav, very quickly. Next. Okay, next. I'm skipping few things, but it's okay because I want to give you critical stuff. So I've thought of having a lot of things. So next, one more, where there's something called distraction. So let's move more. One more, Mother. One more. Yeah, stop there. Back. What impacts focus? Just stop there. Okay, what impacts focus? There are two things which are already there: habits, emotional state. Can you add on something more, please? What impacts focus? Now, impact is neutral here, by the way. No, mother, please wait. Mother, wait. Let people type in. Can you? Okay, disinterest, discipline of your time. Impact can be positive or negative. Doesn't matter. What impacts focus is the positive way or negative way. You can type your answers. Discipline of time. Okay, fine. Madhav, can you just pressing things? Fine. Concentration. Fine. Okay, Madhav, can you start sharing mental attitudes, environment, willpower? One more. Mental awareness. One more. And even your sleep. If you typically look at it, everything you do or you don't do is going to impact your focus either positively or negatively. Everything you do. Now, the way you're sitting right now in the webinar, are you intently sitting or are you just relaxed like that? Even that is going to make a huge impact on the level of your focus which you're having right now. Everything you do or everything you don't do, whether you're having coffee right now or whether whatever you're doing, whatever you're not doing is going to impact. So this is a good news according to me. I have heard something very interesting. Now, long back, a huge army captured one of the islands, and the island's commander-in-chief was reported by a guy comes to one of the army members, comes to the commander and says, "Commander, now we are in big trouble." Now the commander asks, "What's the problem?" The guy says, "We have been surrounded by enemies in all directions." He says, "That's a good news. Now you can attack in every direction." Now, why I'm talking about this is when everything impacts focus, you've got a lot of things in your hands which you can do. Change a bit of work habits, change a bit of emotion, work on your goals a bit, work on your comfort, work on your health, work on your mental attitudes. Bit of fine tuning here, bit of fine tuning here, bit of fine tuning here. Now everything will come back and converge into having a massive focus. Okay, next slide, please, Mother. Okay, so your intention is going to decide the amount of focus which you're having. Next, please. That also true with memory, that also true with focus. And you got to manage distractions. How much time is left, Ashutosh or admin? Ektaji, how much time do we have still?
Almost over actually. It's 3:30 already, Anand. We are almost over because we have just about 5-7 minutes left for the closing.
Yes, we need some time for question answers. Yeah.
And we also needed time for the Q&A.
All right, so we'll just skip these things, and I'm going to give you 3 tips. So, Madhav, can you one more? Just take it off. Take it off. Yeah, I mean next. Last 2 more slides. Next. One more. Okay. Now, one thing, if you want to take your focus to the next level, you got to do reflection. Reflection these days, unfortunately, you find it in the dictionary, not in real life. Now, what I mean by reflection, sit down and think what is happening. Now, most of the time, the mind is very active in grabbing information. I mean, we are getting everything into the head. Now, you got to stop, slow down, and reflect. Reflect your day, reflect what is happening in your life. Now, when you reflect, what happens is you're cutting off everything else. Now, focus is like a muscle. The more you practice, the more better it is. Reflection is an awesome tool to get your practice. Yeah, journaling is a very, very beautiful idea because journaling is all about reflection. Unless you do the reflection, you cannot journal the stuff. And when you start reflecting, you will become a better person because when you reflect, you know a lot of things. You don't make a mistake. Now, people say you only make a mistake once. Every time you make a mistake. So there's a very interesting advertisement I've seen long back, Seat Tires, I guess. So the guy comes in, he makes an error, but this guy talking on the phone and he's crossing the road. And the Seat car comes and stops there. And this guy was talking on the phone, he don't even realize that he actually made a mistake. Because he never reflected. Tomorrow also is going to happen. Tomorrow is going to happen. But if he reflects the next day, if he's taking, moving out of taking that kid out and crossing the road, he will actually remember to look around, right? Reflection is that powerful. Next one, please, Mother. Reflection is very powerful. Next one, Mother. We are almost done. Another 2 slides only. Keep hydrated. This is simple and very powerful stuff. Keep hydrated. Whenever your focus tends to be a bit lower, please sip some water. Now that is actually going to help you because brain is oxygen hungry. The moment you sip some water, the water is H2O. There's some oxygen element in that, and the moment you take it, you'll get a boost to the brain. And that's the reason you'll always find if you're sleepy, you drink some water, then you'll be better. I'm saying plain H2O, not Coca-Cola. All right. The next one. Meditate, that helps because I don't have to overemphasize. Meditation is itself a big science of focus, and keep yourself exercising. A healthy body and a healthy mind, that's all about. So you have to keep yourself healthy as well. So that's all from my side. And the last slide are my coordinates if you want. Great. So this is what I have to share. So if you have any questions, I'm here. Any questions?
Yeah, so Anand, now you can also hydrate yourself, take an oxygen break, and we'll be starting a small TBT at our end, and soon after we'll return for a question and answer session.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
so in the meanwhile, audience, please keep all your questions ready. Question answer session coming right after this small break. Okay, here with some words from people who have come and attended our webinars regularly, and some who have even come and presented their own talks and sessions on the platform. So in fact, we started this whole thing with the person called Naman Gupta, who's founded a social entrepreneur small organization which is recycling cigarette butts and then creating a lot of good products out of that. So small video from him. Thank you.
Namaskar. Firstly, I would like to thank Mr. Ashutosh and his entire team for hosting such a wonderful and insightful webinar through their platform Learning Conclave. And it has helped us a lot in realizing the potential of our company, and it has already provided us with the network of highly intellectual and network people in their field, and they have directly contacted us and they have shown immense support and they are willing to contribute their bit towards our company. And it was a really pleasure for us to speak in their platform on the World Environment Day.
Okay. So we appreciate your patronage, participation and presence in today's session, everyone. And this webinar is brought to you by our Learning Conclave team, represented by me, myself, which is Ashutosh Sharma. Then there is Madhav Roy, there is Vishnu Gupta, and there is Ekta Raman. So all four of us who works as a core team behind it. And now get ready for your question answer session. Let's put Anant on the hot seat and start shooting all the questions at him. Okay, here we go. So audience, now you can introduce yourself, unmute yourself and ask your question live, and Ekta, my colleague, will be facilitating the whole session. Hey, over to you, Ekta.
Yes, thank you, Ashutosh. I'm here.
Okay, great.
Let's look at the chat box if we have any questions.
And there's Nidhi Agrawal, there's Rahul Bakla.
There are a lot of people thanking, yes.
Thank you so much, and I could add a little value in the short time, so you can always follow me on the social handles. All right.
There's a conclusion by Rahul. Rahul says generally figures or pictures are easy to remember rather than sentences.
Perfect.
So,
Perfect.
is it? So, what's your view on this? Visuals help than text.
Okay, great. I'm audible, right? Okay, great. So visuals definitely make an impact. And these days people have come up with, I'm not finding any negativity in that. That's good. People say I'm an auditory learner, I'm a visual learner, I'm a that learner, this learner. Awesome, perfect. Now that's your strong thing right now. But what happened is everybody started with a visual learner. And if you see kids, they open a book and they say, oh, monkey, tiger. They don't even know whether it is written in Hindi or Punjabi or Chinese. They just see a picture and say, oh, this is a tiger. So see and remember. And then when we grow up, so we choose our whatever thing happens, then we'll actually get into a strong mode. So I always say that whatever mode you are in, if you can activate your visual mode, it becomes more easier. Now the language of the brain is pictures. So that makes, when I say apple, you don't see A-P-P-L-E. You see the image of apple. That's how the mind communicates. So picture, sure, it helps. And just to give an example, somebody says, how do you remember name? I can just give my name as an example. My name is Anant. So if you don't remember that, it is easy. And ant. If you can visualize that, instead of my head, I have an ant's head. And I'm trying to communicate with the antennas. You see me after 1 week or a month and you say, ah, this guy, an ant. Okay, so that's how it works.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes, great. So Mr. S.K. Sharma is asking, how do we remember names? And Martin is asking, how do we remember complicated numbers?
Okay, first of all, there is nothing complicated. It is how do we remember numbers? Because why I'm saying there's nothing complicated, because we have 0 to 9. There's no complication at all. All right. So complication is a perspective. Now people say, oh, maths is complicated, physics is complicated, geography is complicated. Now that is complicated for you. If maths is complicated, nobody would ever do a PhD. But if people are doing that, that means they have a special interest to it. So anything in life, if you want to remember, if your heart resonates to that, it's easier. The interest is there, it will come up. And if the interest is not there, you have to figure out a way in which you can visualize it, or you start working with it. When you start working with it, you will actually have more interest. Maybe one of the days I'll share on numbers and names. Maybe if the conclave helps us to have another webinar, maybe a couple of months down the line, maybe yes, we'll do it, because that's a big science on how to remember names and numbers.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm sure people must have a lot of questions, Anant. It was a very, very fast and quick session. Don't think people must have got much time to kind of, sink it in and then make a note of questions.
So
I
you can
guess
always send the questions to the Learning Conclave. They will always reach me.
Yes, yes, yes. So we do have a form that we request everybody to fill up. So we get the feedback also from our participants, and it's also a business networking form where they can list their concerns and we can connect them to you, and that's how they can probably get help and real help if they need on training on memory enhancement. So Ashutosh, I'd request you to now conclude the session if you have any final words to say.
And I would like to thank everybody for being here. It really means a lot to me, and you have spent out your time, and I try to do my best in this short time. Thank you very much to the Learning Conclave team, and thank you, audience.
Thanks to you, Anant, because we don't have, I'm not seeing any questions. You can read the chat. It's all about your session. Everybody was super excited. Lots of energy, lots of typing and writing work to do. So no time to sleep in between, no time to blink an eye.
Anant, I forgot everything.
Yes, so I would really like to. Yes, I would really like to thank you on behalf of everybody, all the participants. Thanks to the participants for giving in their time. I'm really hoping that they're taking some very, very important learnings and takeaways from your session. And we will connect with the audience again on Tuesday, guys. Please remember, we are here on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And if you want to listen to Anant on memory enhancement again, and you really liked his session, please do fill up the form and mention that you're willing to attend this. And we will request Anant to be on our platform again. Thank you very much for your session, Anant. It was great.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Goodbye, all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.